Hello. Okay. So tonight we are talking about recruiting, but not just in general. I want to touch specifically on the things that people struggle with the most, the areas that you get stuck in and whatnot. So I have my notes here based on a couple of the questions that actually Megan and Alexandra had asked in the team page, specifically areas that they were struggling with. Oh, did we just lose her? Oh, no, she's back. Specifically areas that they were struggling with, or just some more information that they thought might be important to talk about tonight. So if you're watching the replay, welcome. If you have any other questions or anything I didn't touch on, make sure you drop some questions or comments in the comments, and I will do my best to get back to you. So the first sort of question or struggle was bringing up the conversation in the first place without being the typical, hey girl, like the Huddle messages that MLM are kind of hated for, right? Those typically are from people when you see like MLM hate, or when people get cringy, when they get cringy like messages in their inbox, it's usually from people who they haven't heard from in 10 years or that they never hear from otherwise. From people who usually are not interacting with them on social media in any type of way. So that person now knows that this person doesn't actually give a crap about my life. They're just trying to build their direct sales team, right? So if you have been guilty of that hey girl message in the past, brush it off. It's okay. We've all been there. We've all done that. Just make sure that we are approaching recruiting not from a place of desperation, but from a place of genuinely wanting to help the other person. Okay, so make sure that you have that relationship established. Be a good friend. So if we're talking social media, make sure that you're actually interacting with their life, what's going on in their personal circumstances, not just throwing your direct sales business down their throat. Make sure that you're keeping your conversation authentic. If you actually say, hey girl, because I actually do, I actually just messaged one of our other teamies who's not here right now the other day, right after we were having this conversation in the team page about the hey girl. And she's like, I was like, hey girl. She's like, you just did it to me. I was like, I did, but it's how I literally talk. But maybe I should cut that hey girl thing out just because there is such a stigma about it. But keep your conversation authentic. Use language that you would normally use. Don't use things, scripts and things that you find online. Don't use scripts that were given to you from your upline. It's why I will never give you guys like full-blown scripts to copy and paste, because they're just gross, right? We're not robots. You're your own person. You talk completely differently than I do. You're going to use your own quirky language. So make sure that you're keeping your conversations authentic, and make sure you are focused on what's in it for them. Usually I try and like drop a little seedling of what's in it for them within the first sentence or two. So it's not a copy paste. I could have sent this to 60 different people. It is meant for specifically them. And when we are approaching recruiting as more of a lifestyle, something that we're just doing in our everyday life and in our businesses, it can be a little bit easier because, and you'll hear from the tips that I'm going to share too from that awesome leader who recruits a crazy amount of people. She actually touches on this too, talking about how she literally just uses people's complaints, sort of. She kind of laughs about it, but she's like, the everyday complaints. I am broke. I hate my job. I hate Mondays. I can't wait for Friday. My dishwasher just broke. I have no friends. All of that kind of stuff, to literally bring up the sense of opportunity. So she's using real life conversations that she's having with real life friends and being like, yo, Sensi could help you with that. So if you are literally just bringing up the opportunity in natural conversations because your opportunity is the best thing on earth, then it's not going to feel spammy or gross or any of that kind of stuff. Laura is here. Laura, how are you feeling? Okay. So I hope that helped. Did that help you guys? Megan, did that help, the whole bringing up the conversation in the first place? Struggle? Kind of, yeah. Okay, so the next sort of question we got was, how much is too much? And this was addressed in like, how much is too much when we're having that first conversation, and how much is too much once they're finally on your team. So I broke it down in a couple different ways. So my sort of like rule of thumb, hi Laura, hi Tony. My rule of thumb is let them tell you what they need to know. And then it'll never be too much. So I let them lead the conversation. I will put the opportunity out there, and then they know better than I do what they need to know in order to join. Hi, Tony. Okay, so don't think that you need to give them a whole flow chart or a PowerPoint presentation about everything that's good about this business, okay? Or you don't need to break down the whole compensation plan. You don't need to tell them about all the free trips and all of the other bonus perks that we get if they just want to get a discount on their purchases. You let them lead the conversation, and that way it's never too much. I literally will answer a question at a time. So if they have a couple questions, I'm like, okay, cool. Like throw some questions at me. They ask a question, I literally answer that question as simply, honestly, and as thorough as possible without having like verbal diarrhea, right? And then I let them ask the next one. And then like, I don't just volunteer extra information that they're not asking for. If they have determined that that one question that I answered was enough for them to join, that is totally okay. That is fine. That's all they needed to know in order to make that decision. Like I say all the time, stop acting like it is a huge deal. Yes, is starting a business a huge deal? It can be if they do something with it, but they aren't donating a kidney to you, okay? This isn't like a heart transplant. They are literally spending a little bit of money on a starter kit. If they decide it doesn't work for them, they just keep all the stuff that's in that kit. Like it's not a big deal. So don't overthink it as the person who is offering the opportunity. Once they are a teammate, how much is too much? There is a fine line between helping and coddling. Okay. I know that as sponsors, we want to be really good sponsors. We want to help that teammate succeed and like find happiness and joy. And also we want them to succeed so that we can succeed, right? Like, let's be honest. But you're not doing them any favors by doing all the things for them, okay? If you are a teammate of mine, you know that I am going to be available only when I'm available. I have not strict business hours, but when I am not in my office, AKA available to talk to you, my phone is always on silent and it goes upside down on my bedside table. So I don't even see it ring. I don't see the little notification. I don't see any of that kind of stuff. So make sure that you have a little bit of boundaries as far as that goes so that you are not taking up all of your personal or family time, like answering their questions. Also, if you're a teammate of mine, you know that if there is a question that can be easily found on the workstation, I am going to direct you to that workstation first before I just answer that question for you. If you are brand new and I want you focusing on like your lunch party and not like searching the workstation, I will tell you what the answer is, but then I will also tell you in that same conversation how to find the answer yourself next time. And if it's that next time and you're asking a very similar question, I'm going to direct you where to find the answer instead of just giving it to you. We are not doing them any favors by doing all the work for them, like I just said, okay? So make sure that you always have it in your mind that you are trying to, like, you're the mama bear, okay? And you're trying to raise strong, independent consultants, all right? Not like people who need to have their hands held at all times. Not only will that burn you out as a sponsor, that's going to create sort of lazy, entitled behavior within your team, right? You want them doing the work for their businesses. You want them having that sort of idea wrapped around in their head that they will not get the results unless they are doing the work, okay? It is not up to their sponsor to do that kind of stuff for them. So if you are afraid of leading or how much time it's going to take, just make sure that you keep that kind of stuff in mind. You still have your own business to run. They have to be the ones to run their business. You are there to help sort of guide them towards their next steps and their next goals, okay? So did that help? That part, how much is too much? Okay. Alexandra, I'm gonna go to your question. You wanted to know how to get them from interested to signed up, right? So you have, you're good at getting people like on the fence, right? Like you're good at offering the opportunity at first, perhaps, but you can't kind of close the deal, right?
Right.
So like I said before, I want you to make sure that you are letting them lead the conversations, Okay, so that you're not overwhelming them, because sometimes if we overwhelm them, if we give them too much information, they can go from interested to like, whoa, 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 like that sounds complicated, or that's too crazy for me. So make sure that you're keeping it really simple. Only answer the questions that they're asking. Make sure that you keep building the relationship. So once you have that sort of fence list, like all the people sitting on the fence, make sure that you're still maintaining a relationship, still building a relationship, and still building an authentic sort of like friendship, right? You're not there to just snag them. Like you want to build an actual relationship, a genuine one with them. So make sure that you stay in contact consistently. I almost wrote down the squeaky wheel, right? But that's like a kind of a negative connotation to it, but just basically make sure that you are keeping yourself in their mind, right? I have actually lost a couple of recruits over 10 years who I've like noticed afterwards had joined someone else's team because I literally just fell off like the follow-up bus. So make sure that you are staying in contact consistently and that you do follow up. Most no's, you guys, are just not right nows. I asked Laura like 100 times, it feels like, in 2 years if she wanted to join my team, literally just for her own discount. And it was always just not a good time for her. Like she was always like, can we talk about it later? Can we talk about it later? Not right now. So make sure if even if they say no, you keep them in the back of your mind. I don't care how. Make sure that you're not just using just straight up memory. Okay, you are not an elephant. Make sure you have some kind of list or some kind of tracker of people that you're having conversations with so that you can touch base with them later. Some people will even tell you specifically when it works, when it'll work better for them. So, okay, maybe like I can't join right now, but maybe after Christmas would work better for me, or when the kids are in school, or when I go back to work, or when I'm off work, or whatever it may be. If that is the case, literally the best way to not forget that is putting it in your phone. Like literally put it in the calendar in your phone. So if it's when the kids go back to school, put it in your phone for the week after the kids go back to school, because the first week is hell. Okay, so don't contact people the first week of school. But literally put it in your phone. Be like, follow up with Megan, aka opportunity, or whatever you need to say. So yeah, follow up. Make sure that you're always there. Also, respect their fears, apprehensions, whatever they may have that's kind of stalling them. Respect those, right? We need to have empathetic responses to that kind of stuff. So if someone, or I was actually saying this to someone the other day too, most people don't join because of fear. Like literally it's fear-based. You guys have heard me say that 100 times. It's usually like they're afraid of failure, or they're afraid of looking stupid. Like they're afraid of trying and then looking dumb, right? Oh, let me see what Laura says here. I said after mat leave over and over, I went back to work May 2nd, signed up on the 11th. You cornered me. Yeah, you missed it. I shouted you out earlier, Laura. You're one of 2 people who have hit the monthly sales award this month. And you're one of 2 people, Megan is in that team of yours, who have built their teams this month. So yeah, I'd say you're doing okay. You cornered me. Maybe that's the way to get people to join, you guys. Be like, are you gonna join? Like just be really, really aggressive. Give them no choice. So yeah, make sure that we are respecting those fears. They come from real places, right? So if someone is afraid of looking like a loser, we need to be like, yeah, dude, I get it. That is such a human way to feel. And make sure that you are just responding out of empathy, right? Even if they're not afraid, maybe they just don't want to, then we're going to respect that too. We're not going to try and push anybody into it unless it's Laura. So respect their fears, apprehensions. Someone is much more likely to join in the future if you have made them feel comfortable in the first place, right? Being open and like vulnerable with you. And the last part of this, like how to get them from interested to sign up, is literally just be enthusiastic about your opportunity. Like so many consultants make the mistake of trying not to look like that crazy, be like, oh my God. Ah! Okay, don't be that person. Okay. But also don't just be like a ho hum, like, yeah, I got this opportunity. It's okay. Like, no, you need to still be enthusiastic about it. You need to still show that you're passionate about your business. People want to join someone's team who's having a great time, who is loving their business, who is like 100% confident that they've made the right decision, and that if like, you're not going to go onto someone's team who's like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I guess like we'll be all right together. Like, you want to like make sure that the person you're about to sign up under, who is supposed to be mentoring you, is all in and ready to like rock it themselves, right? So even if you feel enthusiastic on the inside, but you think maybe it's come across a little bit ho-hum, just do your best to sort of convey that enthusiasm, convey that passion. And you don't have to be like a crazy Valley girl in order to do that. You can still show your passion authentically to you, whatever that means. Okay. I'm going to go next to onboarding, and then I will share the tips from that director that I talked about before. Okay. So onboarding, which I think actually stops a lot of you from recruiting in the first place, because you're like, well, I'm not going to know what the hell I'm going to do once they're on my team. So maybe I should learn that first before I even start building, right? So if you're not comfortable or you're not confident about what to do once you have a teammate, you're probably not going to go hard on trying to get that teammate in the first place. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, it's not complicated. What we do is not rocket science. Okay. We sell things that smell good. All you have to do is support someone also selling things that smell good. Okay. Like, just right off the bat, it's not that hard. Okay. To be a good sponsor, like, you just have to give a crap about their success and like help them towards the goals that Sensi has already laid out for them. Okay. But a couple tips saying all that. In our team page, there are several files that actually deal with this exact thing. So I will tell you right off the bat that create a system that works for you, because the systems that I have created, because they work for my brain and the way that, you know, I work, they might not work for you. They might not work for your personality type. So even if it's a great system that someone else is using, if it's not something that you're going to use, don't even try. Okay. Create a system that works for you. And when I say a system, don't get overwhelmed by that. It's literally just means the thing that you do each time something happens. Okay. So an onboarding system is literally the thing you do every time you recruit. Okay. Megan says, you guys can just interrupt me, you know that, right? I made my onboarding system in 5 minutes. Welcome recruit to Team OTR, walk consultant through how to set up a party, create launch party. After friends are invited, my posts are scheduled, walk consultant through some onboarding stuff. Get to know their why, shooting star and sensational start awards. Perfect. I don't even want to continue on because that's that's perfect. Like, it's literally just that simple, you guys. Sensi has already laid out everything that a new consultant needs to do for their first 70 days. Your job as the mentor is to literally be like, how's this going? How's this going? Do you want help with this? Let's get you here. It's literally that. It's literally just walking through them, walking them through the steps that Sensi's already laid out. Okay. So in the team page, and I actually believe it's on the workstation these days, is a Frontline info sheet. Okay. It is literally, I have it on my computer. That doesn't help you right now though. It's literally just has like their name at the top, when they joined, their why, things like that. Okay. Their titles, like what title they've, because you're going to keep this forever and ever in your Frontline binder, right? So if they're eventually going up the compensation plan, you can actually check off as they're promoting. There's a spot at the bottom, plus you can use the backside for conversation notes. So maybe they touched on that they want to pay off their new van, right? You could put that down there on their Frontline info sheet, so that you as a sponsor could check in every once in a while and be like, hey, how is this going? You know, that you mentioned that you wanted to do this with your business. Like, where are you on track with that? So it's just basically a little info sheet to help you sort of stay up to date with all of their pertinent information. Okay. There is also a new team checklist. So like, it's called literally, I sponsored, now what? It's in the album section of our team page in the leading your team album. Okay. If you click on the actual picture that says that I sponsored, now what? The actual description, like the caption of the picture itself, has a whole checklist for you. It's basically what Megan just said, just a little bit more in depth. Okay. two more files. Sorry, I'm like having to skip a couple sentences because I wrote down not in order. Two files that work together if you want just a system that's already laid out for you with a full script and everything that you can sort of just like pump out to your new teammate. Of course, like make it your own with your own language. Two of them. So for the new person, you can send them, it's called My Launch Plan Team OTR. Okay. And it sort of just helps them write out what their goals are, how they're going to get it, all of that kind of stuff. The file that goes along with it for you as the sponsor is called Help My New Recruit Launch. I can't make it any more simple than that, right? To find. So they're both in the files. They're both like right on top of each other because I uploaded them at the same time. And like I said, it literally breaks down exactly what to sort of say, not even how to say it, but what exactly to say during each conversation of that first initial coaching time. Okay. In all of these things, in all of my new team checklist, all of the different files and stuff, in every single one, I'm going to have something that says, set up a coaching call with your new teammate. Okay. If an actual phone call makes you want to die, like many people, don't make it an actual phone call. Maybe do a Zoom if FaceTime or FaceTime on Facebook or something. If that's more comfortable for you, do that. If none of that works for you, just make sure it's a dedicated sort of time that you can exchange conversation with people. I think actually what Laura and I did was literally just voice memoed back and forth to each other for like the first 3 days that she joined. And it worked perfectly because she could listen to it in between her other responsibilities, like her full-time job and 2 kids, right? And I could listen to hers and coach her on my time when it worked for me. So instead of it being a half-hour conversation, it was kind of spread out for a few days, but it was just when it worked for everybody. And she could still hear the inflection in my voice and sort of like the attitude and the tone, where that kind of gets lost in text or email, right? Now, if that doesn't even work, and maybe email is the only way that you can contact this person, or if they prefer text, do whatever works. I don't care. Make sure that you are just literally helping that person get set up. Okay. A coaching call, yes, if it is FaceTime and an actual conversation, can kind of just get the job done a lot faster and sort of allows them to express any concerns or anything that they have. But when I say coaching call, and you're like, oh, I can't do it, so you're just not going to do the rest of the list, like that's not okay. Just skip that part or turn that coaching call into whatever works for you. Okay. Now, before I talk about the lady I just recruited responds to emails once every 4 days, it's going to be a process. Yeah, absolutely. And if that's the case, like maybe and I've had this happen before actually, because I've had complete strangers join my team sometimes because they just go to the website and click join. So once in a while, I'll be like coaching them. They won't respond at all. Like there are some recruits I've had in the past who I've literally never heard back from, but they just do their own thing. Like they're entering sales and they're entering PRV. They just want nothing to do with the actual like team aspect of it. They don't need an upline necessarily. They're just putting in sales for whatever maybe. So that might be your new recruit sort of style. Like she might just kind of want to do her own thing. It's your job as a sponsor to at least put it out there, make sure that she knows you're around and available to help if she wants it. But if she doesn't take you up on that, that is okay, right? We can lead the horse to water, so to speak. Okay. So is there any other questions or any other thing that you find you're getting stuck or that you're struggling with before I read this lady's tips? So for those of you who missed it at the beginning, or actually I was speaking about it before we even started recording, I think, this specific director, and I will get her name so I can credit her as well. I'll put it in some description of wherever I upload this. She is a rock star team builder, has been with Sensi for just over 2 years and already has a team or a group of over 900. So she is doing the damn thing right now. And she shared her best sort of summed up tips in the director group earlier today. And she gave permission for those directors to share it with their teams. So here is what she has to say. So she said, for everyone asking, I'm literally going to be reading from my phone. This is her comment word for word. Okay. For everyone asking about my team growth and recruiting, this is pretty much the advice I can give. You'll find rock stars in there as you go, and that will help the growth. So what she's saying is that she did not recruit all of those 900 people by herself, right? She recruited many of them, and then some of those, many, went and recruited themselves, and then those people recruited, so on and so forth. Okay, so when you are thinking about climbing up the compensation plan, know that it is not a single-handed job. You cannot succeed without your team succeeding. So it is in your best interest to help them grow with you. Okay, so sorry, that was a little caveat. She says, I bring up joining anytime someone complains. LOL. Best way to explain it. I have convos with people and keep the convo going till they complain. I offer flips and such to have the convo, and if they are interested, I convince them to get the big kit. It's worth more. So what she means by complaining is, here's some examples. I'm struggling financially. Sensi can help with that. I hate my job. Sensi. I wish I had a boat. Sensi. I wish I had good friends. Sensi. Right? I wish I had more time. I am depressed. I am overwhelmed. I wish my kids would listen. I hate the color blue. So she's obviously just saying, like, anytime anyone has any kind of complaint, she's going to be like, did you want to join my team? So she kind of turns that into an opportunity, but it's authentic to that specific person that she's talking to, which is why it works so well for her, right? The list goes on. Basically, if you can find a way to fix their complaint with Sensi, you will grow. Get creative in how Sensi will help them. I've had some amazing months where I've recruited 5 to 9 people. Some months I get nothing, but my best recruiting month was 18 people. I also offer the opportunity multiple times to the same person, sound familiar, throughout time, because it's no for now, and I always work it with I want them specifically, so I will never leave them alone, which is true. Like, I knew Laura would kill it right from the get-go. This also helps for when we have joined promos, because when they come, they're already used to me asking and contemplating it. So they've already been like, basically she's going over like planting as many seeds as possible, right? And then when we do have a join promo or something exciting going on, she can come back to them, and that person's already been stewing on it, whether they even know it or not. It's already been kind of sitting in the back of their head, which is really smart. Takes a person on average 7 times being asked before they say yes, guys. So if you already asked the 6 times before a promotion to join comes out, they will likely say yes when there is a promotion. In that recruiting, in the recruiting of many, you will find rock stars who will do the same as what you're doing. This is the best advice I can give. Turn all convos into join talks, but make it fun and even funny. Don't make it salesy. Right? So if you use your own sense of humor, or again, like, just be authentic to yourself, that's when you're going to get better results. So Laura says, I don't even have 18 friends. Same girl. I have to start cornering people in public. Yeah, just get people pressed up against the fish in the grocery store and just see what happens. So think of, Laura, you have had 2 straight months of over, like, so far you're already at 2,300. Last month you rocked out, I think, at 2,700, and you've hit at least 1,000 PRV since you've joined in May. That is a lot of customers that you've just sold to. Save some commission for my bail. So that is a lot of customers who you have been talking to for the last 4 months, right? These people don't have to start out as your friends, but we're going to turn customers into friends. Most times I will add people as friends right on Facebook. And if they're not friends on Facebook, they're at least in my VIP group so that I can still be in contact with them. We still like joke around, right? I'm posting things like interactive memes and crap like that. So I get to know people a little bit. They get to know my personality a little bit. Your recruits do not have to be, and usually won't be, people you knew before Sensi, right? The 3 friends that you had before Sensi, like all of us, because everyone is an introvert these days, I swear to God. They should actually be people you've met because of Sensi, right? Like networking. That's why we're in network marketing. So think of your new recruit, Laura, like you didn't know her until 3 weeks ago. That's how we do things. I didn't know a single one of you. That's a lie. I knew Laura. The rest of you, I didn't know before Sensi, right? So like, there's no other world that you would have ended up on my team or in my downline otherwise. And I can tell you, out of the 80 to 90-ish frontline I have, very few of them I knew before 2011. right? Or I met outside of Scentsy. Usually it's through parties or fundraisers or customers, contacts, referrals, things like that. So make sure that you, when you guys are offering the opportunity, you don't forget the people who are in your workstation's contacts tab. That should be the first resource you go to when you're talking about or about to offer the opportunity. So if you haven't yet, or if you haven't in a while, literally go to that contacts tab, write down everybody you haven't spoken to in the last like 3 months about the opportunity specifically, and put them into lists. So they're going, like, one list might look like your relationship is solid with that person. You're in contact with them all the time. You're not going to be one of those creepy direct sales girls who reaches out only to recruit them, right? Like that's the one list where it's a good warm market. You have a good established relationship with them. The second one is maybe like the second sort of list that you can, or category, I guess, that you could put these names into is somewhere right, kind of a little cooler than that. So maybe they're a customer of yours. Maybe they're just someone you haven't talked to very often or in a long time. Those are the people that you're going to reach out to literally just say, hey, what's up, right? Or if they're a customer, you're going to reach out to and see if they need any wax bulbs, flowers, whatever it may be, right? Don't just go straight for the opportunity if you haven't talked to them in like 3 or more months, because that's rude, okay? That's where the spammy, hey girl stuff kind of comes into. The third list is even cooler than that. So if you haven't spoken to them at all in a while about anything, make sure that you follow up with them stat. If you find that to be an awkward conversation, trust me, I've been there, because you're like, shit, I dropped the ball on this customer. Like I've not been following up with them. I haven't checked in with them in a while. I always find the best way to avoid that awkwardness is literally to be straight up. Hey, I dropped the ball. I just realized we haven't spoken in blah, 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 right? Or in a long time, you could say, I just wanted to check in with you, see how your stash was doing, see if I can help you in any way. Most people are going to be like, no problem. Like no one cares as much as we do. We make it a bigger deal in our heads than it actually is. Okay. So write down all of your contacts in your workstation and put them into those 3 categories. Okay. Warm, like, you could touch base with them right now about the opportunity, about the sweet September join special, see what they have to say, right? If you know them well enough, make sure you include something that can specifically benefit them. Okay, if you do not know them well enough, like on a personal level, a discount can always benefit a Scentsy customer. So make sure that you are offering just like, hey, have you ever thought of doing this? We have a sweet join special. You can get a free warmer this month. You'll earn 20% cash back on all of your own purchases, even if you never sell to a single other person. That's it. That's an opportunity offered. Okay. Then the second list, like I said, is kind of an in-betweener. Maybe they're just a casual customer. You don't really know them personally. They're not on your Facebook. They're not in your VIP group. Get to know them, work on building a relationship. The third category are the people that you've let drop off the face of the earth. Bring them back to life. Okay, that's it, as a customer or a friend. So that is that. If you guys don't have any questions or any other comments or anything for me to add, like in the recording, I'm going to stop recording and then we can chat for a few minutes before I go tuck my kids in. You guys are good? Everyone's silent. So I'm going to assume that that's good. Bye, YouTube.